Is this thing on? Sure looks like it is. I need an intro, chat. I need a good, like, pull 'em in intro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fenway Fanatic, what's going on, my friend? Bobby, how are you? Mr. Versatility coming in with the joke as old as time at this point. How are you, Versatility? Fenway, oh, I already said hi. Tom, they traded Danvers, not Carol Danvers. Spencer, what's going on? Mr. Money, Mike, Madness, Jack, Wrath, Giga, JC, Scott, Jack, Mr. Matt is here. Howdy ho, neighbors. What's going on? Rafael Devers, the man, the myth, the legend's in here. Jeff Jackson, I'm good, man. How you doing? Bregman, we'll talk about him. First, we need to say, whoa. Hey, backwards fitted hat? No, sir. We're doing it forwards today. I don't look good in backwards fitted hats. Some people can pull them off. I cannot. I've officially decided. R5, thank you so much for becoming a member, my friend. I really appreciate you. Welcome to the members only. Speaking of that, chat, we got to do our members only next week. Laser Show has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen. Blake Sabol will wear number 2 for the Red Sox. Guess we aren't getting Bregman. Yeah, there it is, folks. We got Sabol. So R.I.P. Bregman. This is it. The end of the line. We're going to talk about the trade the Red Sox made today. It's not a big one. Certainly not video worthy or anything, but it's a trade, so we'll talk about it. Sabol. What did I say? Sabol? I kind of like Sabol better. Sabol works. Whatever. Robbie, how are you? Austin. I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Full Throttle 2.0. We'll see. I'll say this. I think last offseason was better, or this offseason was much better than last offseason. We'll see kind of how they ended up, I think, overall. But we could talk about that once the offseason ends. The good news is there were a lot of promises, but there wasn't at least a catchy catchphrase this year. G, how are you? Hey, Corbin, I found out what kind of stereo's in your intro. Is it really? I had no idea. Yeah, it was just I bought a stock video thing. It's not my radio. Can you make me feel better about this Duran situation? Got me ready to fully crash out. Looks like from what we've been hearing, Breslow is pretty adamant that he wants to get something done before he hits it. So I would have a little bit of patience on there, just a little bit. With the Red Sox. With the Red Sox front office, you never know. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Genetic, what's going on? Robbie, my moderator, is here. Have I already said hello to everybody? Speed Racer, how are you? What's up? Not much, man. We need to get Arenado without getting rid of Casas. Unfortunately, to me, it kind of sounds like... So that's the other thing I wanted to hit on a little bit in this stream. Unfortunately, it kind of sounds like the Red Sox view Arenado as, hey, we are going to get rid of Tristan Casas, which is super dumb, in my opinion. I've made that point very clear, right? We've made that point very clear, but it kind of sounds like they're connected. What I will say is sort of the person that's been, or the team, I don't know who they are. It's Cardinals Live. We brought them up in our video about the Tristan Casas potential trade, right? Talked about him a little bit. They've been pretty, like, they've been mentioned by Chris Cotillo having sources. They were mentioned on Foul Territory having sources, right? So it's not like these guys aren't totally out of the loop, but today they threw what sounded like really cold water on the idea of Arenado to the Red Sox. I don't know if talks fell through. I don't know if they got wrong information. I'm not sure, but at least from them, it kind of sounds like, hey, look, we need to pull back these trade talks. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. We'll kind of see what happens with Arenado. It truly does sound like if the Red Sox trade for him, they're trading Casas, and I'll never understand why. What was one of my favorite parts of Fenway Fest? Signing the Green Monster has to be. Like, the fact that my name is now, or I guess the channel's name is now officially inside Fenway Park is really cool. So I think that's got to be it. Do you think the Red Sox are done making moves? No. I do think there's more moves to come. I think they will get a bat. I don't know what caliber of bat, and I think they will get an arm. And I do think it'll be a high caliber reliever. We'll see, though. I don't get it. We were willing to pay for Soto, but can't pay for other people. So it's hard to be like, oh, it's hard to be like, oh, they didn't, or they tried to spend money on Soto. Why aren't they spending it anywhere else? Because Soto was such a unique player, right? He was incredibly young. He's already a Hall of Fame player, so it's not like he's going to get any worse as he gets older. You know, he kind of fit in with exactly who the Red Sox were looking for. It just, it fit perfectly with where the Red Sox were at right now. It's a bit of a different conversation to say, oh, they didn't spend on this, they should spend everywhere else. And they should still spend. That's not my argument. My argument is we can't look at the Soto contract of, you know, $700 million and be like, well, why aren't we spreading that out amongst every other potential person out there, right? Mr. Prodigy, how you doing? Drake May's engaged. Congratulations, Drake May. I don't really understand why that Cardinals account is being taken as credible out of nowhere. I think it's just because they've been right. Like they had the Bregman, Arenado. I get those two confused so often. Arenado being connected to the Red Sox or wanting to go to the Red Sox before anyone else did. So I think that really helped him out. There was another thing. I don't really trust him at all when it comes to MLB stuff. It truly does not really do anything for me. But when it comes to specifically Cardinal stuff, I think they kind of know what they're talking about a bit more. I don't know, right? I genuinely think it's because they did get something right, or they've got a few things right about the Cardinals offseason. They were ahead of who did they end up going to arbitration with? Was it Brendan Donovan? It might have been. Whoever it was, they had that like off the rip too. So I don't know. Did you hear that the Red Sox have an offer of $500 million? They can't. He's not a free agent, Steven. What's up, Max? The only Casas trade that would make sense to me is 1-for-1 for Vlad Jr. and then extend him for 12 years. Yeah. The problem is I have no faith in the Red Sox doing that. We could play ball. Steven is a troll? No, Steven's not trolling. He's just got wrong information. There is part of me that's like, man, I just want to play baseball. But it is like the offseason is truly fascinating, right? The offseason is truly fascinating. It's such a unique offseason compared to a lot of other sports because everything is so played out, right? Every possible scenario is run through during an MLB offseason. In NBA and NFL, it's like, man, everything happens in a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. So there's not really time to truly digest every single thing. But in the MLB offseason, right, you can go into, okay, how does this guy make the team better? What are the pros and cons? We could talk about all these different things. There are different levels to contracts. It is interesting. It really is interesting. They need to extend the first guy they traded for before they worry about doing it again. Yeah, that's another good point. Do that first. They didn't sign him, Evan. They traded for him. Close the door on the offseason moves until the trade deadline. Yeah, but the problem with that is the offseason for Major League Baseball is so long, right? It's so long. You want from, like, realistically, what are we going to talk about from January? Like, if it's just November, the month of November, and ends winter meetings, what are you going to do for the rest of the offseason? There's not really much to have a conversation about. MLB kind of dies off. Bro isn't left-handed. No, yeah. He definitely bats left-handed. We're going to talk about him in a second. Boy, that's going to be annoying, huh? Are the Red Sox saving their money for Vladimir Guerrero? I don't know. Everyone said they were saving their money for Soto. We'll see. I doubt it. All right, let's break down the trade, shall we? It's not a big trade, which is why I'm not going to do a breaking video or anything crazy like that. But I did want to at least talk about it because, hey, there's not really much going on with the Red Sox right now, or really anyone. I know everyone's going to be like, oh, the Red Sox aren't doing anything. No one in Major League Baseball is doing anything right now. Okay, so here's the official trade. Our boy Boston Sports Gordo. Well, actually, Hunter Knoll, the real boy here. They're both the boys, but regardless, I don't know why I'm trying to... Whatever. The Red Sox have acquired catcher Blake Sabol I'm never gonna pronounce that name right. Just go with me. From the San Francisco Giants for international bonus pool money. If you guys are interested in the international prospects Red Sox picked up, that is our video tomorrow. Don't fret. The Red Sox got a really, really good class. I think a lot of people are going to be really happy with it. Yes, they got shortstops. I'm going to say this in the video. I'm going to say this now. These guys are high school age kids. All the best players in high school played shortstop. It is not surprising that when you are signing 16 and 17-year-olds that they all play shortstop. Is that not a correct statement? It drives me nuts when people are like, oh, here comes more shortstop prospects. Guys, all of these everyone on the Red Sox at some point in their life, especially in high school, outside of maybe Tristan Casas, and even Rafi played shortstop when he was drafted or signed, played shortstop. That's just how it goes. Anyways, I got off on a tangent there. Blake Sabol coming over to the Red Sox, international bonus pool money, going back to the Giants. Chase Sugart was DFA'd. I kind of like Chase. I always thought he was kind of like on the edge of getting DFA'd. I hope he stays with the team. I think he's a solid depth reliever for the Red Sox. And I really hope he's there because he could be serviceable for big league innings. Excuse me. We'll see what kind of ends up with that. As for Blake Sabol, I'm never going to pronounce it right. Get over it. Bat looks kind of like decent, right? This is a really small, and we'll go over the bigger sample size in a second. I just want to go over the most recent one. So this is 2024. He only had 38 plate appearances. I think that's like, 13, 14 games? It's not a ton. Bat looks pretty good, right? Good eye. Walked a lot. Hard contact, pretty solid. Strikes out a bit. Defensively this season in the small sample size, it was pretty decent, right? It was average for blocks, a little bit below average in caught stealing, average at framing. Pop time was pretty good. Now here's where everyone kind of hesitates a bit. Boop. This was his qualified year in 2023. 344 plate appearances. That's probably about half a season. I should really bring up the baseball reference page too so we get the full scope of this. There you go. Yeah, so it was 110 games. So it was over half a season by about 30 games. I was off. 235. What was that? Super chat. Got ourselves a super chat right in the middle of that. I got to pause everything. We got to take a look because I did have chat going. $5 super chat from Lionel. A fantastic message. Best Red Sox channel on YouTube. I appreciate that a lot, Lionel. Thank you so much, man. That was unbelievably generous. Oops. That was unbelievably. I don't know why this is doing this now. This is unbelievably generous to you. I really appreciate it. What up, Daniel? Braden, what's going on? We're talking about the trade the Red Sox made for this catcher. So, okay, let's go over the pros. Let's go over the pros a little bit, right? Got a little bit of pop. 110 games, 13 home runs from the left-hand side. Average that out to 162 games. It's kind of close. It's probably like 16-ish, 17-ish home runs. Not bad. Strikes out a pretty decent amount in the bigger sample size, right? What's the strikeout percentage? Yeah, not great, right? 34%. This was his rookie year, though. Keep in mind, this was his rookie year, right? So there's always going to be a bit of an adjustment when it comes to the strikeout rates. We've seen that with basically every rookie in Major League history, right? Around a league average, right? 92 is below league average. Not significantly enough to be like, this dude is terrible. Certainly nothing to write home about. Not crazy fast, I would assume, with 10 doubles. Stole twice. Then we got another super chat from Genetic. He says, what's up, Corbs? What's up, Genetic? Thank you so much for your donation. I really appreciate you. He says, think the Sox will make any more moves? Yeah, I do. I do think there's more to come for the Red Sox. I just don't know what caliber that's going to look like. That's all. Saw you on the tube today, Corbin. I like the trade because the Red Sox didn't give up too much. Yeah. They didn't give up anything, right? Member for 5 months, man. Can we get some claps to the chat for Genetic? Not only is he donating to the channel, he's been a member here. Why is it doing this? I got to figure that out. For 5 months, almost half a year. Thank you so much, Genetic. Okay, so let's go back to Blake. So here's sort of the pros. The pros are you gave up nothing to get him, right? You still managed to have a really solid international class, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. He's got minor league options, so this isn't a guy that needs to be on your 40-man roster. You had Sebi Zavala as the entirety of your catching depth in AAA. This guy adds to that. Now the question becomes, is this, my God, guys, are we trying to people, another $2 super chat from Genetic. He says, got to throw some money around. If you're going to throw money around, you might as well throw it my way. Thank you so much, Genetic. That is very kind of you guys. You just know you don't have to donate to watch or anything. I really appreciate that, though. Thank you. Means a lot. Well, let me send anything more than $2. That's weird. Okay, so we go through the positives here. My God, what are we trying to do to me? $5 super chat from Prodigy. My moderator, $5. Thank you so much, Prodigy. I appreciate you. Make sure we're liking these messages, guys. Did you hit the cage during Fenway Fest? No, I didn't hit the cage. I embarrassed myself really bad in the first vlog I did. I didn't want to do that again. The other thing, too, is the line were crazy, right? They're crazy. So, no, I didn't get to hit in the cage. Do you think we talked to the Blue Jays about Ernie Clement? Probably not. We'll take a look at him this stream, but I doubt it. Also, what are the chances we get Bregman? Oh, boy, do we have a Bregman segment coming, I promise. We're talking about Bregman very soon. Very soon. I just trying to get the Blake thoughts out because there's really not a ton of thoughts overall on Blake, but here's what I will say. Here's what I'll say. There's no risk involved. It is essentially a minor league deal, right? He's going to be on the 40-man roster. You don't need him to be on the major league roster. So he's now, at some point, I am going to get through this. I promise. Another super chat, this time from Genetic. He says, there we go. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Genetic, you don't need to keep donating, man. That's more than enough. Thank you so much. Make sure we like that message for Genetic. We're going to try one more time at this Blake stuff. I promise. We're going to try one more time. Bat's interesting. Defensively, right, this isn't great. It isn't great, right? He doesn't like blocking the ball. He's pretty solid at catching runners stealing. He's pretty solid at framing, which is not bad. So here's where I think this Blake stuff ends up. The Red Sox didn't find a catcher in free agency that they want to bring in as backup. Kind of crazy to me, whatever. We all have gripes with we're not getting into that. Either way, they trade for this guy, Carlos Narvaez. They trade for this guy, Blake Sabol. One of these two is going to end up as the backup catcher for the Red Sox this season. I think they are putting their confidence in Connor Wong, in his ability to continue to develop and continue to get better. I would have preferred they kind of took that question mark out of it, but whatever. My point is, if this guy doesn't end up on the major league roster, which I got to be honest with you, if you put a gun to my head and said, Corbin, who is going to be the backup catcher for the Red Sox this year? I think it's Carlos Narvaez, and I will finish that thought in a second. We are going to, at some point, get through this conversation, I promise. $2 again, he said, bro is not getting through this segment. You're right. I'm not getting through it. His 10th super chat on this live stream. Can we get a ton of likes on that one? Is his 10th one here? You're right. I'm just not going to get it. I'm just not going to get it. Okay. I'm just going to rapid fire this. It's going to be him or Narvaez. I think the edge is very clearly on the Narvaez side of things, just because Narvaez has such a high ceiling defensively. Regardless of whether or not this is a platoon match, I don't think the Red Sox should care that they have two right-handed catchers. I wouldn't care. I think Narvaez has a higher ceiling. Again, Blake looked good this year. The problem is the sample size is just so much lower than what he showed in 2023. And 2023, because it's such a bigger sample size, is what we have to go on, which is just unfortunately his rookie season. So can he get a bit better? I don't know, right? I would assume so. If you're seeing the production increase as you go year to year, even with the small sample size, your hope is that, hey, he could get a bit better here. He could figure himself out. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is there is no risk involved in this trade. What I do know is the Red Sox have no catching depth. And what I do know is that this guy's probably going to fight it out for a back half of the back end of the bench come opening day. I still think Narvaez is clearing away the winner of that, but we will see. Okay. Whew. Chat, we did it. We did it, chat. We made it through. We made it through. We did it. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. Weekly Bregman. Yeah, we do have a weekly Bregman. $1.99 super chat. G-Fresh, hot take. Duran gets traded by the trade deadline. That is a real hot take. I think if they were going to trade him, they would have traded him this offseason. He was definitely, if they had put him out, he would have been one of the hottest commodities in baseball. To me, it doesn't make sense to take the risk that he regresses after having a historically good season and then trade him at this year's deadline. I don't see it. It's a hot take. Yeah, I just don't agree with it. We're going to do a hot take video soon here. Maybe we'll do one this week, towards the end of the week here. So we can get more of those. But, G, thank you so much for your $1.99 super chat. I appreciate you. In other words, depth is very important. Having a guy who's better than having Heineman. Kind of exactly what the whole point of this is, right? They just want to build up some solid depth, and Blake Sabol is a solid depth piece, and that's really all that matters. More righties in the lineup, the better. I don't understand that statement. Genetic is tossing cash around today, Genetic. Dude, I don't know what got into you, but I really appreciate it. You're giving me way too much love here. Thank you so much. Love the streams. Thank you. There will be another one, by the way. YouTube being funny won't let me send bigger supers. Maybe it's YouTube saying, hey, dude, you don't got to donate to watch the stream. You know what I mean? This idiot right here doesn't deserve your money. What up, Shane? What could the Red Sox get for Casas? We actually did a video, Monday? Talking about one trade that has come across that's a legitimate, in my opinion, comp to what you could get for Casas. So you must now dance for him. If someone donates me $100 and tells me to do a dance, I'll do it. But anything under $100, that's how bad of a dancer I am, Chad. That's how bad of a dancer I am. How old is my oldest follower? I have no idea. Still, what do I think? Josh Bell for Casas? I drop dead. I would drop dead. I would dissipate into a smoke of pure disdain. What could the Red Sox get for Casas? I feel like that does not get talked about enough. They could get a lot. How young is my oldest follower? Oh boy. That doesn't. Now you're just confusing. I keep saying Duran and Meyer for Tatis Jr. That'd be crazy. I'd do that, by the way. Genetic with $2. Genetic is just refusing to let me do segments on this stream. He's just refusing to let me do it. But I appreciate him, and I appreciate the generosity. Thank you. Whoever with Duran wants $4 million, Red Sox offered. I said see you in arbitration. Yeah, so kind of sounds like, so here's kind of what I got out of because we talked about it in our winter meeting, our winter weekend. I'm going to call it winter weekend. Get over it. Another $2 super chat from Genetic, but he's just not even letting me finishing sentences at this point. Thank you so much, Genetic. Make sure we're liking those, chat. Genetic's being awfully generous with his money and his time just being here, so thank you so much, Genetic. Mad bum for Casas endeavors. My God, where are you guys getting these trades? I don't even remember where I was. Oh, yeah, arbitration. So it sounds like because they got sat in front of the media, which is always nice, you get a longer explanation of everything. You could sit there and you can have conversations about these things. And Breslow kind of broke it down a little bit. Well, really, Kennedy and Breslow, if you combine the two of them, it's almost one story, right? It kind of sounds like the Red Sox sort of gave a blind bid, basically. Hey, this is what we think you're worth. Duran gave his blind bid, and then Duran was informed what the Red Sox wanted and said, nah, I'm good. And then the Red Sox just said, okay, right? That's kind of it. I'm hoping now that both sides have come together, and Breslow said, look, I talked to him. I understand what it's like to be on the other side. I understand what it does to a player's mentality, psyche, and relationship with the team. We don't want that. That he sits down with Duran and he goes, look, we don't want you to go through this. We don't want you to have it. Let's meet in the middle. Let's say 3.75, and let's call it a day, right? Let's just do that. So we'll see what ends up with Duran, but again, it's a really, really interesting conversation to be had. I have no idea what ends up coming of it. I've said this before, right? I'm gonna be livid if the Red Sox end up bringing this to arbitration. And just over $500,000 for everything that Duran has meant to you on the field this last year, and for you to come into this offseason and say, this is Rafi's team, but Duran's the leader. Duran's the role model we want these young guys to look up to. It's $500,000 that should absolutely have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It bugs me. It bugs me a lot. It always bugged me. We'll see. Just give him the $4 million. Yeah, or just do that, right? Just do that. $50 super chat from Aaron. My God, Aaron. That's insane. Thank you so much. All right, Genetic. Hey, thanks for the love, my friend. I really appreciate you. Aaron, that's crazy. You're crazy, man. That's way too much money. Thank you so much. That's way too much, man. Thank you. Hopefully they can get a Duran a long extension. So Aaron, I'm gonna dive into this a little bit. I wasn't planning on talking Duran tonight, but hey, the people want Duran. We're gonna talk Duran, Aaron. Again, thank you. That was also his first super chat in this live stream. So the fact that it was $50 makes it even crazier. So okay, we'll go over numbers in a second. So here's kind of the thing with Duran. Right now, he is... Oh, wait. I'm not even sharing this, am I? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay. Right now, he's 28 years old, 132 days. Okay? And he is currently not a free agent until the 2029 season. So, 25, 26, 27, 28, and then he's a free agent. So, you've got 4 more years, basically, of Jarren Duran already on your team. That brings him to... So, he'll turn 29 and 25. Is that right? I think so. No, so it'll be 28, 29, 30, 31. So it'll be 32 when he goes into free agency. Now, that's sort of the conversation they need to have, right? Is it worth the Red Sox giving this guy a 7-year contract, right? So you've got him under contract for 4 years. He'll be 32 when he enters free agency. So let's say they give him a 5-year deal. Then he's going to be 32 with the Red Sox. That's not bad. That's still certainly a very productive player. Anything past that, though, things start to get a little bit interesting. If you go 7 years, you've got him locked up to 32, 33, 34 years old, right? Ideally, with these young contract extensions, the goal is to lock these guys up into their prime and then a little bit out of it. So, for example, right, Rafael Devers is signed until he's 40, but he's also going to be a primary DH. Brian Bayo's kind of the exact conversation we need to have because he's signed up until he's about 31 years old. Rafaela, I can't remember how old he's going to be. He's going to be, what, 32? So the question becomes, is it worth the Red Sox giving him 6 or 7 years if in 4 years he's going to be 32 going into free agency where they could, if he's really still productive, hey, you know, teams aren't going to want to give you a ton of years anyways. Why don't you come back for another 3 years and we'll see what we could do on the money side of things, right? So it's an interesting conversation with Jarren Duran. Do you prioritize this guy was a stud, let's pay him now so we don't have to deal with this arbitration stuff going forward, because he's probably going to be a stud for the next at least couple of years as long as he's healthy. And we sort of give him a 5-year deal, maybe 6 with a player option or a team option or something. That brings him to 33. But hey, next year, the year after that, and then the year after that, well, I guess it'd be just the 3 years, because you probably will take effect the year after this. Or I guess it could affect 2025. Regardless, right? Let's say the next 4 years, instead of paying him $4 million this year, hey, let's give you $6 million. And the next year, hey, we're going to give you 7, 10, and 15. Then you don't have to worry about this guy's done 3 years of MVP caliber performances. What the hell are we going to pay him in free agency? And boom, all of a sudden you got, I don't want to say Mookie Betts because that's an entirely different conversation. But you have an issue with the Red Sox not wanting to give him what he's worth in arbitration. That's the way I think when you're looking at extension with Duran, you got to look at it. How can you buy out the rest of his ARB years if you are confident that he is going to be this good or similar for the next few years? Because he's only going to be worth more money. If you can't come to a deal with him now, what's that going to look like in 2 years when he's projected to make 7, 8, 9, 15, whatever $1 million in arbitration, right? Going and giving him a 10-year deal now doesn't make a ton of sense, right? You're going to give him a deal until he's 30, until he's basically 40 years old. I don't think anyone loves that idea in a baseball sense. I would say 5-6 years is probably right where I'd put it. But again, thank you so much for your donation, man. I really, really do appreciate you. It means a lot. He's worth it. He's worth it though. He's worth paying until he's 40 years old. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Is it? Thanks a lot, Aaron. Hey, man, I really appreciate you saying that. It really does mean a lot to me. It's truly the kind words. Thank you. If I donate $500, will you do whatever I say for the rest of the stream? There are nothing that could get me in trouble. Nothing that get me in trouble. Like if you were donated in $500 and said, talk like a British man for the rest of the stream, I'd do it, right? But if you were $500, take off your shirt, I'd be like, no, right? I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. How is the guy you extend if you're going to extend one of the older ARB guys? I would agree with that as well. He's worth it. I don't know if he's worth it for 10 years, though. I don't know if he's worth it for 10 years. All right, Shane, hey, enjoy the game. Duran is similar to a guy like Andrew Jones, who was amazing until he hit 32 and he fell apart. Buy out the ARB, maybe 33, and then not pass that. Yeah, so again, if tomorrow we got hit with a 6-year Jarren Duran contract, I'd be pumped. But if it was 10 years, I'd be like, whoa, 8 years even, I'd be like, okay, this is risky. This is risky. Trade Casas, Abreu, Crawford, and Anthony right now for Guerrero. Thank God you are not running this team, Steve-O. Thank God. Buying out the ARB is fine, but even a single year after that's not great business. One singular year just so you can save money. Makes sense, right? If you go 5 years, but you're saving yourself, let's say $5 million year 4, $7 million year 3, $2 million year 2, and $1 million this year, that makes a lot of sense because then it's made up for in that 5th year and you can kind of spread out the money. 6 or 7, you get in that conversation of, boy, are we extending this guy into a really risky area of a player's career, especially a player who relies so heavily on speed and being athletic in their game. What's up, Kevin? Where do you think the Sox will finish if they do not add anyone else this season? I think they compete for second place right now. I think they compete for second place. There's a key word there, right? Compete. Compete. Not win. I think they can compete for second place. I think on paper they are yeah, Craig, I did a whole vlog about it if you want to see it. It's on the channel right now. Who am I assuming will be first? The Yankees, to me, on paper, are a better team than the Red Sox right now. And that sucks to say as a Red Sox fan, but And again, the Red Sox right now, I think, can go not toe to toe with the Yankees, but I think they give them a run for their money. I think at the end of the day, right, the Yankees are just gonna beat up on these. I think here's what I'm gonna say: the floor of the Yankees, I think, is higher than the floor of the Red Sox. I think it's a lot closer than it was last offseason for sure. But I think the floors are different. I'll tell you what, you add in Bregman and a reliever arm, I think they go toe to toe. I think they go toe to toe. What are my thoughts on being in the new Luis Guerrero IG post that I shared with you today? It was kind of funny. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, if you don't follow Luis Guerrero on Instagram, he posted a reel today, and the intro is me. It's me saying, do the Red Sox have their future closer in this organization? And then I go into a video about Luis Guerrero. It's absolutely it's incredible that Luis Guerrero's using my video for his Instagram reel. But the immediate second thing I thought of is, my God, could he have used a newer video? Because he used one from 2-3 years ago, I think. And it's choppy. It's DMCA. Hey, brother. I'm gonna need some royalties on this one, huh? But it's literally it's like the background's like my old apartment. I was like, man. It was just funny. But it was really cool to see. Did I see the projections say the Red Sox have a top 5 rotation bullpen at this point with one bullpen arm, probably putting them at 1? I would be shocked if they were the number 1 bullpen at baseball. Their ceiling is, I've been saying this for months. The ceiling on the Red Sox bullpen is incredible. The problem is we don't know what the floor is. You think the Yankees are that much better? I think the two of us are close, but I need a top relief guy. No. That's what I'm saying. Right, that's kind of what I'm saying. It is, I don't think the Red Sox, compared to going into the year last year, I think there was a gap, a legitimate gap that you could see since opening day. That, hey, the Sox are scrappy, they're fun. The Yankees they're just here, right? Judge, Soto in the lineup, they're just here, right? You lose Judge, I wish they lost Judge. You lose Soto. And all of a sudden you're down here a little bit. Even with Cody Bellinger, I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not all that afraid of Cody Bellinger. I like the guy, not crazy afraid of him, not crazy afraid of Paul Goldschmidt. Those are two guys that, right? Paul Goldschmidt's on a year away from retirement. I'm not worried about him. The rotation, it's good. It doesn't instill fear in me like I think it should, and I think that's just because the Red Sox own Garrett Cole. Right, the Red Sox were bad against Garrett Cole. I'd be terrified of that rotation. The fact that the Red Sox own his ass, Rafael Devers owns his ass, makes me really happy because I don't fear that guy at all. I just think the only thing I'll say is I think that, again, the ceilings are about the same. Like, I think if the Red Sox truly reach their ceiling with all the prospects coming up, those guys are immediately impacted right away. And, Duran does what he does last year, this year, and Rafi stays healthy, and Casas and Story, they stay healthy. Buehler and Giolito, they stay healthy, right? They go kind of toe-to-toe. The problem is the Yankees lose a guy. They still have a lot of players, especially in that rotation, that work out. The Red Sox lose a guy. Yes, they've got depth, but is it depth? Like, I don't know, right? In my opinion, the floor for these teams are so last year was kind of like here and here, right? This year, I think it's like here, and then you add in a bat, maybe, and then a reliever, and I think you're toe to toe. What up, Mayo? Yeah, it's a pretty weird feeling, Austin. Makes me not want to ever say anything bad. Makes me not want to say everything bad. Yeah, and they did absolutely crush Max Fried last year. Am I crazy for being interested in Ha-Seong Kim for the Red Sox? Would prefer short. No, I don't think you're crazy at all. The only thing I worry about is if you're just gonna wait until May or April to bring in a middle infielder, then why not just let that be Christian Campbell, right? Why not let that be Von Grissom, whoever, in the middle. Ha-Seong Kim is fantastic defensively, and there's a little bit of pop there. It's not ever going to be anything crazy. But if you're just going to wait, why not just wait for the guy already in your system? But it's not a crazy take at all. In fact, I've argued with this about Red Sox fans a lot. What about Orioles? They lost their pitching, but their lineup. Yeah, the lineup is still good. Yeah, but the problem is if the Orioles make the postseason, they aren't going to go anywhere because they have a solid bullpen. They have no starting pitching. Who's their best pitcher? Who is the Cardinals or the Orioles' best pitcher right now? It simply can't be anyone of substance, right? What does their rotation look like? What does the Red Sox or the Orioles rotation look like? Yeah, we're afraid of this, right? We're afraid of this. The only person I truly fear in this is Grayson Rodriguez. Zach Eflin was pretty solid last year. I'll give him that. But the only one I'm terrified of is Grayson. Charlie Morton's almost, he still sling it, but it's nothing crazy. Dean Kramer means absolutely nothing to me. I have no idea about this Tomoyuki, but from what I hear, right? People are kind of nervous about him. It is a 1-year deal. Who's on their IL? Bradish, yeah, he got Tommy John. He's not going to be back this year. Tyler Wells, yeah, UCL he might be back mid-year, but you look at this and you're like, man, that lineup's pretty solid top to bottom. All right, looks like it's going to be pretty good. Gunnar was so good last year, huh? He was incredible. Adley struggled last year, though. Ryan O'Hearn, right? Tyler O'Neill, if he stays healthy, might be a little bit of a problem, but we know, right? We know he doesn't stay healthy a ton. Colton Cowser, a little bit better than Willie Abreu, not totally terrifying. Ryan Mountcastle always scares me. I don't care what the WRC Plus says. He just beats up on the Red Sox for some reason. Cedric Mullins, right? He's fine. Jordan Westberg scares me a little bit. I don't know what to expect from Jackson Holliday. There's a lot of questions still in this lineup, I think, for the Orioles. Their depth isn't crazy, right? I mean, Gary Sanchez, your backup catcher. Ramon Urias, solid backup, but nothing crazy. Daz Cameron, I remember him from a while ago, but yeah, Heston Kierstad, right? These are names that they're fine, but Gunnar, Adley, right? Those are the names that scare me. And then unless you get legitimate all-star production from Jackson Holliday, did you really get any better? If they didn't get any better and the Red Sox got significantly better, in fact, I think the Orioles got worse overall. I don't know. Trey Casas, Eric comes in, big old soup spoon. He's just stirring pots. That's all he's doing. He's just stirring pots. That's all he's doing. Problem is Vegas odds makers say 84 wins. Vegas odd makers last year said the Red Sox would win 76 games. They outperformed that by what? 7 wins. I'm not going to put too much stock into the Vegas odds maker. A 5? Am I an idiot? No. 76 plus 6 plus. Oh, yeah. September 26th, Corbin's Doom Day. What's September 26th? Who's better this coming season, Houck or Bayo? I mean, you got to go Houck, right? I have to go Houck just because of what he did last year. But I think Bayo has a big comeback season. I said that last year too, but I do think he has a big comeback season. If the Red Sox can acquire Arenado or Bregman, I think that they could go for 95, maybe 100. Bregman. Give me Bregman, truly. I think Hamilton's trade before the end of spring training. Mike, cover your ears, dude. If the Sox sign Bregman, is Grissom gone? Grissom does not have the positional flexibility like Campbell. He can. right? He can have the positional versatility. He was playing third. He was playing outfield in the Braves organization. He can do it. Got to give him time. Also, Aaron, are you still in here? I meant to ask. That's Thor, right? Is anyone playing Marvel Rivals? This is not baseball related at all, and people are gonna hate me, but I need to get this out. Marvel Rivals is the most addicting yet frustrating game I've ever played in my entire life. I've never been more mad at a video game. I don't think we are better than 94-95 wins, even with Bregman and Say Scott. Dude, if 94-95 is our ceiling, Iron Man main, really? Iron Man main. Aaron, are you playing Thor on Marvel Rivals? Rivals is amazing. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I get so mad. Versatility. Even if we're not better than 95 wins, right? With Bregman and Scott, that should be enough. That should be enough to get you into, at the bare minimum, a postseason. At the bare minimum, a postseason. It should give you the division. What did the Yankees win last year? I should just let you guys answer this because you are going to have it faster than me. You guys are going to have it way faster than me. They won 94 games. You win 95 games last year, you win this division. And you got to remember, if you're winning 94 games, you're winning 94 games against the Yankees, against the Orioles. So those records are going to be worse because you are beating them. So if you get Bregman and Scott and you go out and you win 95 games, you're winning the division. I think you win the division. I don't think the Yankees win 96 games next year. I don't think so. Oh, we aren't getting 100. I see. Block Brent, ban him now. Why, what did Brent say? I really can't picture Detroit or Toronto signing Bregman. Okay, so should we do the Bregman segment? Bregman. Who's going to replace Tyler O'Neill's 31 home runs? Hopefully, I think it's a combination, right? Tristan Casas, I think alone, healthy, does that. Trevor Story, hopefully gets you 20, 25. The additions of Campbell, the additions of Anthony, I think immediately you make that up. Anything else, I think, is a bonus at this point. All right, we're doing our Bregman segment. It's really, that rolls off the tongue really well. I'm probably annoying the hell out of you guys tonight. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm in this mood. Joe, is this you? Is this you, by the way? Oh, wait, can you see that? Yeah, is that you? Is this you? That is you? Ah. I was trying to figure that out the other day, and I was like, I had to look up who Robert Stock was, by the way. The second I heard the name, I was like, okay, I think, yeah. So, guys, by the way, any sort of international prospect stuff, we're going over tomorrow. John Heyman talk about the Red Sox with the Blue Jays. Okay. Here, no. Man, John Heyman really said a lot. Okay, so here's kind of sort of where I'm at in this Bregman stuff. And this is, I have this up for a specific reason. So, okay, I don't know. This isn't the one I wanted. This isn't the timeline. I don't care about the timeline. Okay, Gordo, I'm just giving you free play time right now. Where's the tweet? Is the tweet gone? Gordo, did you delete it? Oh, no. Okay. So, all of a sudden what you're seeing from analysts specifically is this sort of switch, right? It's this switch that we saw It's the switch that we saw specifically with Montgomery and Snell and Cody Bellinger around this time last year too, where everyone starts to go, wait a second here. Wait a second. They could go for a short-term deal, right? Bregman could sign for a short-term contract. And Robert Murray's, this is the reason I'm pulling this up today is because Robert Murray's saying it. You had John Heyman for whatever that's worth. Ken Rosenthal spoke about it. We had that article about the Cubs, right? Kind of checking in on Bregman and saying, look, if you want to do a short-term deal, we'll give you a couple opt-outs, something similar to the Bellinger deal. And Bregman didn't immediately say no to it. And I think this is sort of the reasoning why we haven't seen much from the Red Sox in terms of a contract offer, right? We always talk about that. They haven't even offered Bregman a deal. I think this might be why. And this might be the dumb optimist Red Sox brain in me, but we're starting to see again, if you combine that with Cardinals Live, who again, you do whatever you want, but Cardinals Live saying, hey, look, the Arenado stuff with the Sox is really cooled off. But the Tigers and the Blue Jays, hey, they've started to be interested. The Mariners, they've started to be interested, right? Stop the Super Hats? Why would I say stop the Super Chats? Ace, man, this dude Ace really doesn't want me to get paid. But he's like, no. He needs to do it for free or I'm not watching. Hold on, let me take a sip of water and then continue what I'm saying. Water bottle's broken as hell. Make Super Chats great. Bring them back. I've also heard that the Tigers, they're not all done. They're not all done, and I don't think they should be all done. But you're starting to hear them more and more slowly connected to Arenado. And I think that's an important thing to note. No one wants to give Bregman 6 years. No one wants to give him. The latest we saw, in the Cubs article specifically, I need to see, I can't remember who wrote it. They talked about the Cubs saying, look, we'll give you 3 years. We'll give you an opt-out after the first 2. The Bregman camp says, no, we want 5. They go, nah, we're good, thanks, though. And they kind of back themselves out, right? So if you're the Red Sox and you're sitting there and you're seeing the Tigers, hey, we want to get a deal done. We are only giving you this amount of years. Someone gave Corbin a new cup. Yeah, it's broken. The talk today was the Cubs on a short-term deal. I think the Sox are waiting for the same thing. That's my entire point. Versatility. I was going to give a long-winded answer. But yeah, that's my entire point, is I think where we're at right now with the Red Sox, and the reason we haven't seen them offer a contract is because if they sit there and they said, hey, 3 weeks ago they said, hey, we'll give you 5 years, and he's like, no, I want 7, and the Red Sox make the formal offer, and they say, look, we're not giving you 7, but we're going to put this on the table just so it's out there. We'll give you 5 years, 30 million a year, 150 million, right? Then all of a sudden, these teams, they all go, well, you know what? Actually, I think we're going to give you 4 years. See, they come back to the Red Sox. When the Red Sox could have gotten them for 4 years, they have to now get them for 5, right? And so the Red Sox are kind of sitting there saying, if we just wait this out, if we keep the interest up, if we keep saying we want you here, we're not going to make you a formal offer because we know that your years are here. This is where we want you here. We're going to wait for you to get to here, and once you get to here, boom, we're going to make you an offer that you can't refuse, right? And I think that's what they're doing. So here's the problem is we did this last year. We did this exact same thing last year with Montgomery and Snell and a small portion of the fan base with Bellinger, is we sat there and we said, Red Sox are playing this smart, boys and girls. The Red Sox are playing this thing smart. You're not going to believe what the Red Sox are up to right now, right? You're not going to believe it. These guys, they are all over this. They're playing smart money baseball and got nobody, right? And we found out that they weren't even remotely in the Jordan Montgomery thing to begin with. This one, I think we kind of know at the bare minimum the Red Sox are legitimately interested in Bregman. What Gary, am I not allowed to play rap music on my videos? What are we doing? Carlos Baerga supposedly said the Red Sox have offered 3 years with an option. I like Carlos. I do. He has been well off. What up, Connor? I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Connor 4D or is it Con Xor D? It's got to be Connor. Conzorad. All right, Conzorad. Baerga, he hasn't been that accurate this year. Can we pull up his Instagram? I don't know what Instagram's up right now. So, well, Bregman signed before the end of the month. I don't see Bregman being a guy who's willing to take this into spring training. Oh, we got ourselves a little message here. Was that a subscriber? What was that? That was a subscriber. Okay. See, the thing is that when I pull up other websites, I can't look at chat. So, yeah, my personal account. Carlos. Is this who we want? Yeah, this is who we want. Let's see if I can get the Bregman stuff. So he's got a ton on. I don't even see the Bregman stuff. Usually he puts it on Instagram. I don't even see it. Regardless, I'm not going to sit here all day and scroll through Instagram. Regardless of that, Baerga not exactly the best. This team got worse offensive wise and cheaped out another offseason. I don't think they've gotten worse offensively. I'm gonna be honest. Sasaki prediction: he's going to the Red Sox. Or I'm sorry, that'd be awesome. No, he's going to the Blue Jays. Old school, but trap beats are lazy. Buddy, it's a vlog, right? I'm not trying to be a music producer. You know what I mean? Like, it's a nice, fun beat. You have some questions about your account? What account? What do I think about Santander? Santander is fine, in my opinion. No, I say he's going to the Dodgers. Did I say Blue Jays? I meant Dodgers. I have no problem. With Santander. I just, personally, to me, if you're going to get Santander, you have to get Masataka Yoshida traded. And at that point, is it worth making that move? I don't know, right? Just for the home run pop? I don't know. Right. I don't personally think it is at this point. Earlier in the offseason, when there was potential of other moves going on or whatever. What do you mean the offense got battery for real? Oh, that's not for me. Okay. Release Yoshida? No. There's no point in releasing Yoshida, in my opinion. If they sign Santander, which they won't, Yoshida's the corresponding DFA. Yeah, kind of has to. Do Boston need Bregman? They don't. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think this offense needs my account with you, my friend. Bobby, I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about, my man. Like your subscription to my channel? I can answer whatever you want, sure. Peeking riddles. I know Baerga's hit and miss, but he said the other day that also, hey, Robbie, the Red Sox offered Bregman 3-year deal with an option. Cardinals Live said something similar, I think. So did Cardinals Live actually say that too? I'm getting kind of nervous about Cardinals Live, being honest, Robbie. Yeah, we were just talking about Baerga. I was just saying, it feels like some years he's nails, right? He gets them just do. And then other years it's like, what are we doing, Baerga? What are we doing? You know what I mean? So I really don't know what to make of the Baerga stuff. If that's the truth, that makes all the sense in the world, right? It makes all the sense in the world. Bregman isn't getting the deal that he wants on the free agent market unless someone gets incredibly desperate. And the only way that they do that is if they go into spring training and someone gets injured. And if I'm Bregman and I saw what Snell did, although Snell turned himself around, but if I saw what happened to Jordan Montgomery last year, even though he's a pitcher and I'm a position player, I'm saying, nope, I want a full spring training. I think Cardinals Live has people he talks to. Yeah, so that was my reasoning too, Robbie. I said that at the beginning when I talked about Arenado. It kind of sounds like the wheels have fallen off a bit on the Arenado train, according to Cardinals Live. And the reason I'm sort of taking that seriously is, one, he's had a few things before anyone else, or they have had a few things before anyone else. And two, he's being accredited by legit people, right? Foul or fair, whatever territory did. Bregman's a Boris guy? Yeah. He hasn't nailed anything. He's actually, in terms of Cardinal, you're right, versatility in terms of overall news, but in terms of Cardinals stuff, he was first on the Arenado wanting to come to Boston stuff. He was first on, there were a couple of arbitrations that the Cardinals went to ARB for that he was all over before it became public. Ryan Helsley arbitration figure, he was all over. So there were things this offseason where it kind of is aligned, where Cardinals Live has gotten it first, specifically when it comes to the Cardinals stuff. I don't really work out all the other stuff. $10 super chat from Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron. Aaron, unbelievably kind stream for tonight, man. I really, really, truly appreciate you tonight, man. That's incredible. Truly incredible. Thank you so much. Do you think we go after Vlad Jr. next year? I would love to tell you yes. I'd love to tell you yes. Personally, I think the Red Sox love Vladdy. I think Vladdy loves the Red Sox. I don't know that he even gets to free agency, though. There's a very legitimate chance the Toronto Blue Jays get real desperate after having missed out on Ohtani, after missing out on Soto, after missing out on every single free agent this offseason, besides the guy who failed 2 different physicals, right? That they just get desperate and they say, hey, you wanted $400 million? Let me give you $450. Let's get this thing done and signed. We want a star here. And I think the Jays get desperate enough to at some point get close to doing that. If he doesn't, a lot of people are saying, hey, he likes to be here. The Red Sox want him here. There's mutual interest between the two. It feels like a perfect match at Fenway Park. He crushes here. He's an incredibly young player. He's exactly the kind of money the Red Sox throw around, player Red Sox throw money around at. It feels like a match made in heaven. But do I trust the Red Sox to outbid anybody? Not right now, for being totally honest. 2, do I trust that he gets to free agency? Not fully yet. And 3, I don't have a third. I don't have a third. Chris Castillo's backed up. Oh, yeah. Reports say Arenado's impatient, wants something soon. If I'm Arenado, I want something soon too. I mean, what? You're a month away from spring training. You can't go into spring training with your bags packed. If you are Arenado and you're that big of a star, it just doesn't make sense to sit there with a suitcase just in case you get moved at the end of February. I wouldn't like that either. And we go after Vlad if he's available. Boston checks off the postseason box, along with Vladdy being on at 30. Henry okay with a free agent, long mutual interest. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. I just don't know I don't know if he gets available. I don't know that he does. I think if he comes out of spring training without a deal, he's going to be available at the deadline, and he's probably going to be available the next offseason. I don't know if the Red Sox don't trade for him, which I don't think is going to happen. Robbie, my man, I am very, very down. You let me know. And I'll be there. And hey, same to you. You should come on here too. You know what we should do? We should just do a cross stream. We should do a cross stream. But I'm very down. You just let me know. I'd love to talk some ball with you. If Tristan gets hurt, God forbid, I want Vlad at the deadline. Yeah. So if they get to, so here's my point with Vladdy. If the Red Sox can't, or there's no option to trade for him this year, before the season, and even before the season, this is risky business. If they can't do that, I don't want the Red Sox to trade for him at the deadline, because there is, in my opinion, very little chance, unless the Red Sox give the dude like $600 million, that he's not going to free agency. Right? So if I'm the Red Sox, I don't think it's worth trading away, because it'd be a big package. Vladdy's still a very valuable player. It'd be a big package, regardless of whether or not he's a half-year rental, just to get him for half a year, right? Just keep him out of New York and LA. That's another big fear of mine, is if the Mets don't bring back Pete, they are going to be all over. Imagine Soto, Vladdy. Ugh. Soto, Vladdy, Lindor. No. You know what I mean? What's my opinion on the catcher we acquired today? We talked about him earlier. No real opinion. It's just sort of a solid depth move, basically. If you trade for Vladdy, you don't right now. Oh, you do it right now or wait until the offseason when the Mets sign him. Yeah. So that's my point, right? Again, like if the Mets don't bring back Alonso, we're screwed. 23 months. Mike has been here for almost 2 years, folks. 2 full years. Also, Aaron, did I say thank you for the $9.99 super chat? I want to make sure that got out there. Pretty much the way the Red Sox should have gone after Sasaki's bringing in Daisuke. So that would have been great, Mike. First of all, can we get some claps to the chat for Mike for being here for almost 2 years? That's absolutely crazy. Secondly, Sasaki specifically was like, look, if you come to me in our first meeting with players, I'm not going to choose you. So also the Red Sox had never even got a call back. They called Sasaki. They said, hey, man, we love you. And then he said, that's cute, and went to another team, basically. See situation where we put Vladdy back at third and make Devers DH and keep Casas. It would be fun. Doubt it, but it'd be fun. Who would you take there? Who's the better third base defender? I don't even know. Like, has he even played any time at third base in MLB? Vlad. Why did he move over to first base? Was he just so bad at third base? No, first baseman and third baseman. Played some third base. Let me see. Oh, he played 96 games and was kind of bad. Not great, kind of bad. 12 games this year he was average. Probably, is it still better than Rafael Devers? I love Rafi. Actually, you know what we could do? We could just go to, when was his first year? 2019? Let's do it. We always, for some reason in this chat, we always end up on Vladimir Guerrero. Even when we were talking about Soto, we always ended up on Vladimir Guerrero. The people want Vladdy, folks. Look at that. Dude, this is disgusting, by the way. This is disgusting. This is also gross, but this is disgusting. 2019. Yeah, so just simply not a great third baseman. It was his rookie year, so that's understandable, but just simply not a great third baseman. Then he moves over. Even the year he won a Gold Glove, he really wasn't that good. 18th percentile. He's not a great defender. I think he's more serviceable at first base just because he can pick it and just because first base, you know what I mean? Like you could kind of get away with a little bit below. This is well below league average, but you get away with a little bit below league average player. Plus he's 25, so there's room for him to grow defensively. I don't know that I'd trust him at third base. If you're going to move Rafi off at third base, like the star of the team or the team, right? I would just much rather put him at first. Which then what do you do with does Casas on third base? That'd be hilarious. And the Red Sox are done on bullpen additions. Michael Fulmer coming back and the recent moves they just made for Des. This screams sign Bregman. It really feels like the Red Sox aren't totally comfortable with their bullpen yet, which makes sense. I still am. I'm gonna stay. He said, "Peace out, bro. I'm good. I'm not coming to Boston." Who? Yeah. I'll stand by this. I think the Red Sox need one more of a certainty in there before we call it a good bullpen or a very good bullpen. But do I trade Tristan for prospects or a win now player? I mean, I would trade him if you had to, right? I love Tristan to death. I do. Look at this baseball savant. I mean, this is like peak Tristan Casas, right? If you get this out of Casas, you had a fantastic season. This was a good season for Vladdy. He's done it. He's done it. Does that make sense? He's done it a couple of times where his baseball savant pages looked like this. And I love Casas. Yeah, I would trade Casas if it meant getting Vlad Guerrero Jr. And if you're going to trade Casas next off, which is in my opinion, if you're going to trade Casas, but you bring in Vladdy, I don't think anyone has a problem with that. If you trade Casas and go, next year we're going to get Vladdy, I riot because I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Can we see Casas' 2023 savant? Yeah. All right, so mental picture. This is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 2024. Obviously, Tristan didn't get any, although his looks pretty good even this year. 2023. It's not that much different if we're being totally honest, but don't say anything to anyone. Right? I mean, Vladdy just kind of dwarfs these. Right? These were all towards the top, whereas Tristan was just well above average. The only thing he was below in was strikeout and whiff. Outside of that, all right, ready? Boom, 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 boom. So the expected batting average way higher. Expected weighted on base, I should say. Same ballpark. Slugging, again, they're all good. It's just that Vladdy was better. That's it. It's a simple answer, right? And I love Tristan. I take Vladdy. I love Tristan. I take Vladdy. I'll take both Casas and Vladdy. Devers can stay too. We'll figure out positions later. We'll have Vladdy play left field. We'll put Vladdy in left. We'll put Devers at second. Show me Devers, Savant. Devers is skewed because of that bad last 16 games. Jose Devers comes up before Rafael Devers. Bite me. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. 2022 or 21 was really a good year for Ravi. What do you look like in 2018? This was in my opinion Rafi's best season. Look at Rafael Devers' fielding, folks. I don't think he played a ton of games, but look at this. Actually, maybe he did play a full season that year. This is what Rafi's capable of greatness over here. Ladies and gentlemen, look at Rafi. 99th percentile. How many games did he play in 2019? Did he play a full season? He had to have. In fact, that takes me to F. Rafael Devers played 156 games. 99th percentile. What were he was a third baseman, right? I'm not going crazy. He played 152 of those games at third base. But he led the league in errors. What is going on? What is going on? Am I losing my mind, chat? Am I going crazy? Am I looking at the wrong statistic? No. Someone explain this to me like I'm an idiot. Looking at range. That makes a lot more sense. See, someone needed to explain to me like I'm an idiot. Got it. Got it. Thank you. We're good. He can get the ball, just not throw it. Yeah, true. That's always kind of been Rafi's issue. Yeah, I don't know, man. The Vladdy stuff just continues to baffle me. The Vladdy stuff just continues to baffle me. If I don't know, like I sit here with the Vladdy stuff, and I'll say the same thing, right? I don't love the idea of the Red Sox playing for the next year, because if they do that, they're just going to continue to do that, right? There's always going to be a prize at the end of every offseason. There always is. It was Soto this year. It was Ohtani, Yamamoto the year before. The year before that, man, now we're too far back. Freddie, maybe, right? A lot of these are Dodgers. Freddie, Correa. There's always going to be, hey, that person could totally change the franchise. You need to play for now with the idea that, hey, we're going to make a play. That's exactly why the Bregman conversation to me makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you sign Bregman for the 3 years with an opt-out, even after 2 years, maybe you say, look, you want a little bit of stability, fine. We'll give you 2 years, and then we'll allow you to opt out and go for big money after that. Whatever. I don't know. Something along those lines. That allows you to still bring in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and you don't worry. Here's the other thing too: is you get a lot of, oh, but that's going to block people, folks. These are proven Bregman generational. These are proven stars in Major League Baseball. These are proven stars. I take the proven stars every day over and I love Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell. You guys know it. I drool over these guys, right? I glaze these dudes once a month, basically. But I take Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alex Bregman right now over those guys. Not in 2 years, not in 3 years, but right now, because they have proven that they can do it at the Major League level, I take those guys. And then you figure out, where do you put in? Where do you put in Roman Anthony? If you could fit him in here and he starts performing, then you have a bigger conversation about, boy, do we need to get rid of blank. Christian Campbell, you figure out where to put him. And you have a conversation of, boy, where do we put blank? Because then you have a great problem. My issue is always, if you rely too heavily on these guys being just strictly those guys, the future of your team, right? Because your team's solid right now. To be great, you need those guys to be great at this point in time. My reasoning for being nervous about that is, it is so much easier to adjust your team with too much talent on it, right? There is so many ways that you could fix that. You can move someone off a position. You could trade for another area of the team that you need. You could basically, those are the two options. You can option people down to AAA. You could stash that talent in AAA. You could do a whole bunch of things. If you do not have that talent, if Christian Campbell comes up, and I have full faith he's going to be a great big leaguer. I truly do. Him and Roman Anthony have and Marcelo, who nobody's talking about anymore, is going to be a really good big leaguer too, in my opinion, if he stays healthy. The problem is, what if you come up and Christian Campbell takes a year to truly develop into who he can possibly be? Or realistically, 2 or 3 years to reach his maximum potential, because that's 99.9% of baseball players. Your first year in Major League Baseball is trying to stay alive. Then you go and thrive year 2, year 3, year 4. So in some cases, the opposite, but in most cases, that's usually how it goes. Now, What happens if the Red Sox say, well, wait a second, we want Christian Campbell here. Next year, we're not getting Bregman. And this year, you realize Vaughn Grissom, hey, he's not cutting it. Christian Campbell comes up. Boy, that dude is looking lost on Major League sliders. We need to get him back down to AAA to work on him hitting sliders. What do you do? Right? It's so much easier to sit there and say, boy, Christian Campbell's so good. Where are we going to fit him on this roster? Because there's already so many good players on this team than it is to say, Christian Campbell needs more time. What the hell are we going to do? We'll see versatility. I think personally Myers' injuries are a little bit different than Story's because Myers for the most part, it's been a lot of injury because of trying to get bigger, trying to improve something. It's something where you learn and you adapt. Stories were just freak injuries. So we'll kind of see what path Meyer goes down. If he's healthy this year, I am all aboard the Meyer hype train. All aboard the Meyer hype train. Disagree on Bregman. If I had to choose which one to keep on the roster, him or Campbell, it's easily Campbell. But we're not talking about long-term, Joe. We're not talking about Campbell because by the end of his arbitration years, he's going to be one of the most elite players in baseball. We are talking right this second. Who do you think in the next 6 months is going to produce more? The guy who's been in only playoffs his entire career, basically, or the unproven talent? You can't sit there and tell me it's definitely the unproven talent. You can't do it. You could say the potential is there for him to be way better, and it is. It is there. But right now, step into the box and face Max Fried with the season on the line. Right? Season on the line. You've got 1 out, bases loaded, 2 strikes. You put it in Bregman, you put it in Campbell. Answer. Who's going to answer? Because I'll tell you my answer. It's Bregman because I know he can do it. I don't know if Campbell can do it. And I love, again, this is not me saying I don't like Christian Campbell. This is not me saying. Classy, thank you for watching the videos. I'm going to give you one guess. It's not me saying anything bad about Christian Campbell. It's nothing bad about Christian Campbell. But here's the thing, Joe. It's starting to look like he's going to get a Cody Bellinger-style contract where it's 3 years and an opt-out after the first 2. Is that not essentially a 1-year deal? Right? Is that not essentially a 1-year deal? If that's the deal that you were giving Bregman, let's just say it is, right? Let's say it's 3 years. Let's say it's 4 years. You have an opt-out the first 2 years, and then after the first 2 years, you're here for 4. Right? Let's say that that's the contract. You're telling me if Bregman has a stellar year, he's going to be like, you know what, guys, I'm sticking with the Sox. No, he's probably going to opt out and try for a longer-term contract. It's a 1-year deal. So if you were talking strictly on that style contract, how do you say no to Alex Bregman? You can't. What happens if Grissom has a great year? What happens with Meyer and Campbell? No idea, right? Does Grissom become... One of them becomes a trade piece. Has to. One of them has to become a trade piece. You can't fit all 3 of them. All 4 of them, really. Especially if you have Bregman. And I love Grissom. Yeah, bingo versatility. And that's the other thing, too. People... I don't know why I'm working myself up about this. I'm arguing with myself. Like no one's arguing me. I'm just out here angry by myself. I'm going to put my hood on, actually, because it's kind of cold in here. Get another backup catcher. They just got one today, Eric. God, that's loud and annoying, but I can't not drink water. I'll explode. So here's the thing other people aren't considering. Even if you give Bregman, let's say 4 years, right? There is a very good chance There's a very good chance. You know what, Andrew? I was actually gonna text you. If they sign Bregman for 4 years, there's a very good chance after the first year, the very first year, even if he opts in for the next 4 years or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, you could just trade Massa if Massa's good, and all of a sudden Bregman goes back to third base, Campbell, Grissom, those are your second basemen, and Devers your DH, and no one has to have this is my point, right? You can always figure out how to add talent to fit talent onto a roster. You can't figure out how to pull talent out of thin air. You can't figure out how to do that because it's not impossible. R.I.P. Chase Sugar. R.I.P. Here. Pour one out for the homie. Nice guy, really nice guy. I never really got to talk to him a ton, but from the interactions I have with him in Worcester, he's very nice to me. Are you guys going to have him on the podcast at all, Andrew? You guys have had him already, right? In the coming free agencies, again, here's my problem is we've gotten to a point with the Red Sox where we've started to subconsciously kind of lower our expectations where, oh man, they make this big signing, they're out for 3 years, right? Right? They're out. Well, they'll make their next signing in 2028 or they'll extend and then they'll make their next signing in 29 or whatever. That shouldn't be how this works. This shouldn't be how this works. Right? The Red Sox shouldn't be sitting there saying, well, we got Bregman. We're not going to touch any other free agents. Yeah, but we should be holding them to a higher standard. That's my opinion. And I also don't think Bregman really blocks you from signing anybody going forward. You have no money committed. Basically, after the 2027 season, you got no money committed to anybody but Devers and potentially Bregman. So, no, it really shouldn't block you regardless. Even if you sign Vladdy next year in 26, your book's going to open right back up in 27. If you really have to, you get under the luxury tax. Simple as that. You had him on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it shouldn't. It absolutely shouldn't. This is our year. I'll remember that, Braden. I'll remember it. Yeah, it should not take the Red Sox out of the Guerrero conversation because even if, like, again, right, you can always find a way to fit the talent. You sign Bregman. You trade Massa next offseason. You put Bregman at third, Devers at DH, Christian Campbell, Grissom, whoever wins out that battle there is your second baseman. You could trade Casas for, say Casas is a monster year. You could trade Casas for a stud ace starting pitcher. You can extend that guy. Right? Did I use your press pass to the Fenway experience? No, my Woo Sox media pass unfortunately did not work at Fenway Park. If that did, I think to the show we go would be in there every day. Is Dallas in here, Mike? That assumes Massa stays healthy. Yeah, if Massa stays healthy, you could trade him. That's what he's done with Devers too. I understand that, Joe, but after they signed, but they also signed Story, they signed Massa, they gave Kenley whatever it was, $17 million. They just signed Buehler. Like, they still give out money. I don't know. It shouldn't take them out. That's, at the end of the day, this should not be a conversation where honestly, the conversation should be, tell them Guerrero posted you, so you should get a Sox press pass. Yeah. Hey, man, listen, Luis Guerrero watches my video. You going to let me in the clubhouse or what? Come on. Hey, Luis Guerrero, guys, I promise. Get Luis out here. He'll vouch for me. It's like walking to a club. Right? Do not trade Casas. Listen, I love Tristan. I love Tristan with all my heart. I think he's going to be an excellent baseball player. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is better. Right now. That was electric. I was laughing earlier in stream, Andrew, because I was like, man, he could, like, It's incredible. It's unbelievable. It is an unreal experience seeing your face on a Major League Baseball player's social media account. I was like, dude, like it could have used a little bit of a more recent video. Also, I don't know why. No one told me this, by the way, you guys. No one told me this. I did not have any facial expressions for like the first 2 years I was making videos. No one told me. There was one person was like, you need to have more personality in your videos. And I was like, okay. And that was like 2 years in. Yeah, Joe. I'm not saying this is like what's going to happen. I'm saying it's what should happen if you're a team like the Red Sox. That's my point. Is that we should be sitting here saying, good, we get Bregman this year. We are a contending legitimate team. Next year we get Vladdy and we take over Major League Baseball. That should be our thought process. And wherever it fits, it fits. And that's I don't like. Yes, I'm going to hold them to that type of standard. I'm going to be let down, but that's the standard I'm holding them to because I think that's what it should be. I've been out of loop. Did we give Duran any money yet? No. What's your opinion on him? I like Duran. If your team struggles as bad this year with lefties as they did last year, the pressure to get Vlad will be a lot higher. Not that John Henry cares. The only way the Red Sox perform better against lefties than they did last year, even if they add in a Bregman or a Guerrero, whoever, the only answer is your lefties need to get better at hitting lefties. You can't, regardless of if you get Vladdy or whatever, you can't sit there and Devers can't be a league average bat against them. Duran can't be a below league average bat against lefties. Casas was actually kind of solid against them, right? These guys coming up, Meyer, Anthony, these guys, they can't be bad against lefties. If they are, it does not matter if you have right-handed Babe Ruth. You're not going to be able to hit lefties well. How about a crochet extension too? Yeah. I'm pretty confident a crochet extension gets done. I'm pretty confident crochet extension gets done. I think I've either I'm making it up in my head, but I'm confident about it. Are the Red Sox still in arbitration dispute with Duran? They sure are. How much punishment can we suffer with the facial expressions? Better than me. Yeah, that was the worst video I've ever made. I hate that video. The video I made, just a raw reaction to Xander signing with the Padres. I hate that video. Hate it. We should extend Crochet and Houck this year. If they get both those done, I'm feeling really good about the future of the Red Sox, being honest. I don't think they have Houck as a true priority, though. Henry's a billionaire and having a dispute over nothing. Guys, I got to tell you something. I'm not a Henry apologist. I'm not a Henry supporter. You guys know this. Arbitration has nothing to do with John Henry. The only thing John Henry is doing is signing checks. He's not sitting there saying, oh, we can't give him another $500,000. In fact, I would venture to guess he's probably sitting there saying the exact opposite. That's mostly front office. It's mostly front office. Xander video is what brought me to your channel. Boy, I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. That video, oh man, it's brutal. Looking back on it, like I had the glasses on because I was like, man, it's too early in the morning. I look terrible. I recorded that at like 5:30, I think, 4:30 in the morning. I just showered, so my face was all red. Yeah, that was a brutal video. And I just tore. Yeah, clearly something worked. I'm not a Henry apologist by any means, but he's not the one. He might not even know who Jarren Duran is, if we're being honest. Polishing his toupee, yeah. He's doing something billionaires do, you know what I mean? He's eating some exotic fruit to make him look older or younger. He's cloning himself for the next World War. He's building a bunker. I don't know. He's trying to find the Titanic. I have no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's certainly not sitting here being like $500,000. No, you know. I wonder if chat groups for John Henry's other owned franchises complain that he spends on the Red Sox. No, honestly. No, a lot of them are still, they don't talk. They don't like FSG either. Liverpool hates him. If it was anyone else other than Duran, I just write it off as business. But to have the showdown with Duran, yep. I agree. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. If they did this with Cutter Crawford, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But because it's Jarren Duran, it's a big deal. And they just shouldn't have been. I was just asking ChatGPT Red Sox information recommended my video. What'd you ask him? He doesn't care about the Red Sox. He only cares about the pitcher. But those guys don't like him either, so not really. Free agent signings and losses. Wow. Likely gets done before the hearings. It might, Joe. I understand that. But it shouldn't be a story to begin with. And I think that's the entire point, right? Even if it ends up not being a big deal, if you just end up settling anyways, why go through this to begin with? You know? Like, why allow it to become a big deal? Yeah, Rafi's top one third baseman in my eyes. I love Jose Ramirez, but no, Roki Sasaki's on there. That's a good point, versatility. But still, they don't like him either. And honestly, I don't know. I do Pittsburgh Penguins like ownership? I don't know. I just saw my video when they lost 24-8. Oh, man. I was at that game. That was brutal. As everyone's making it, though, it's Joe, baseball sense-wise, it's not. The fact that it's Jarren Duran and the fact that you spent this offseason not only saying he's untouchable, but saying he's a leader and a role model, right? It's the fact that those three things were said about Duran from this organization. And then they said, yeah, you know what? We're not going to pay you, right? Again, baseball sense-wise, there's probably some reasoning to it. There's a reason they did it. But when you look at just strictly what it looks like from a PR standpoint after an entire offseason of being let down as fans and being let down as analysts and baseball in general, in terms of what the Red Sox were suggesting they were going to do, to take your best player last year and nickel and dime this guy after everything this offseason, PR-wise, it does not look good. It just doesn't. There's no way to argue that. It doesn't look good. Is it a big deal? It might not be. It shouldn't be. But it is, because it's Duran and because of the narratives already surrounding this team. Again, if this was Cutter Crawford, I don't think anyone would have a conversation about it. There'd be a select group. E would probably be in here being like, can you believe they didn't pay Cutter $200,000? Like, no one would care because you got Bueller, you got Crochet, Giolito's healthy. Great, right? But it's the fact that it's Jarren Duran. Do I see any more growing pains from anybody this upcoming season? Growing pains? I think Rafaela struggles at points this year. Grissom might be a candidate for that. I mean, obviously, Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell are going to go through some stuff as well. Bobby, I think that's just because we don't pay it. Like it's hard for us to sit here. It's hard for us to sit here and say we never hear anything about the Penguins. Well, we don't live in Pittsburgh. At least I don't, right? And if you're paying attention to hockey around here, you're paying attention to the Bruins. I've never turned on a station and been like, or boy, do I need to go on to Pittsburgh Penguins Twitter, or boy, do I need to go on to Pittsburgh Penguins Reddit, or boy, do I need to turn on WBZ Pittsburgh or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course we haven't heard anything about it. Yeah, I think there'll be a regression, sure. So someone else types, so I don't have to respond to E. I'm not in the mood to fight with you tonight, E. Do you think that we should get Vlad Jr. wait to see what Casas could? And what he could, if you could get Vladdy, you get Vladdy, and then you figure it out. Right? You can figure it out. You should be able to get him and then figure it out. Hopefully I can do similar content this year. The problem with that, Gary, is what other positions are we going to do? You know what I mean? What other positions am I going to talk about? I already went through all 9. What do we best relief pitcher? I don't know. You know what I mean? I think I actually already did best closer. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do in terms of that type of content. I thought about it the other day. I'd like to have a comment. Like, I'd like to do more shorts. I thought they were fun, but I don't know. I don't know what else to do. If Duran leaves, is it similar to Mookie? No. No. I love Jarren Duran. Jarren Duran's not Mookie. Best AAA middle relief options this year. Yeah. Right. I mean, dude, Mookie won a Silver Slugger, a Gold Glove, an MVP, a World Series, all in the same season, and then left 2 years later. I love Duran. He's probably not doing that. I love Duran. Best could have beens in Red Sox history. That's not bad. You do some NES themed sporkles and stuff. I think I'd only be good at Red Sox, dude. I don't think I could do a single. Like, I definitely couldn't do Bruins. Maybe a little bit Patriots, because I was a big Patriots person. Obviously, during the Brady era, everyone in New England was. I don't think I could do. I could do basketball, I think. All the things I believe Duran could do. He probably won't, but Mookie was never expected to reach those heights either. Yeah, but the problem is Mookie did that at what, 25? Yeah, I'm going to, man. I'm going to. I'm going to give John Henry my money. I'm going to go to Fenway. I'm going to go to Fenway Fest. I'm going to talk about the Red Sox every day. I'm going to buy Nesson. I'm going to purchase the Boston Globe. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post every single time I go to a game this year, and I'm going to tag E in it. That's what I'm going to do. Every single time I go to a game this year. There you go. Buy the Boston Herald, Corbin. Yeah. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm very worried about Duran's regression with age. That's obviously not happening the upcoming season. They should just give them. Yeah. It's nothing to worry about now, right? That's a conversation you have once he hits 30 or maybe 29 going in at 30, but that's not a conversation you have now. I don't think there's any reason to have a conversation about regression with Duran outside of can he repeat a historically good season, right? There's probably a pretty good chance he's. Hey, you too, Austin. Hey, I appreciate you sending me the video. By the way, I probably wouldn't have seen it without you. You're probably going to see some regression from Duran, right? Let's do an FSG charity stream. All proceeds go to John Henry's wallet. I'm in. I'm in. Heim Bloom being one of the worst? No. Are we get backup catcher yet? Yeah, they got one today. Right, like I don't know that we see. Look at his overall value. I mean, top percentiles in batting, almost the best in baseball at base running, almost the best in baseball with his fielding run value, right? I don't know that we see that, but even if it's somewhere in here, the 80s through all of these, he's still an incredibly productive player. So even if you go from let's say Jarren Duran is less like 2023 or 4 Duran and more like 2023 Duran, even if you get this out of him, right, you're still like, that's still incredible. Honestly, what was the difference here? It was 6 points. Okay, let's say he's like a 110, 115 OPS plus. He's still one of your best players because of what he could do on the base pass and because of what he could do on the field. So even if you regress with Duran, I think you're still talking about a really, really solid player. And Joe, this isn't me arguing with you, by the way. This is just me going on a tangent. I'm doing a lot of those tonight, you know? Mookie did accomplish those things younger with a much more talented team. One of the most talented teams. Yeah, Jack, I understand that, but like he still was the best right fielder in baseball by himself. He still was the best hitter on the best team in baseball by himself. Like I don't know if that's really like a true. Oh, he only did it because he's on a good team, right? Mookie's still putting up really, really good numbers. What unthinkable trade gets us there now? I don't know. To be honest, it might be Casas, which sucks. Let's see what else we got. Hey, Corbin, how many years does Trevor Story have left on his contract? I guess 3. Trevor's got a really confusing contract, to be honest with you. The issue with Mookie is Henry didn't think the dollars would be there for him anywhere else and come back with what he offered, and he was just wrong. Yeah, I think COVID really, really, really changed that for Mookie, I think. Who was I looking up? Oh, Trevor Story. I've looked up Trevor Story in this thing like 1,000 times. I can't remember the exact details. So he does have a player opt out this year. After this year, I would be shocked if he took it. If he does take it, it adds in this year through his 35 season. So it'd be 33, 34, 35. That's the other question. Like if he opts in next year, which he's most likely going to, right? I don't think anyone pays him $25 million. Oh, maybe. This is interesting. If he's a good year, does he opt out? If Trevor Story is a good year, chat, does he opt out of his contract? David Sandlin could be nasty. Absolutely can. Just needs to figure out how to make his stuff a little bit less hittable. You say yes. You think he'd opt out? For what though? Like what would be like if he opted out at 33? He's a short. Maybe someone moves him over to third base. God, this would look like such an awful contract. This would look so bad if he has a good year and opts out, and you just had injured 22, injured 23, injured 24, and then he finally has a good year and he's just gone. God. I mean, seriously, that would look awful. Yeah, maybe he'd go to second. I guess that should mean like Sale. But Sale got traded, right? Sale got traded. And Sale didn't have a good year. Sale didn't have a good year before we traded him. Will the purpose of that be his injury history to prevent him from that? Yeah, kind of. For him to opt out and leave would mean he had a good year, and I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I mean, if he's opting out of this, it means he had a great year. And okay, that's perfectly fine with me. But my point is, like, if you're Trevor Story and you either have you have $75 million for the next 3 years, or you take your chances for getting a 3-year, $75 million or more contract in free agency at 33 years old with the injury history you have, if I'm Story, I'm holding on. I think I hold on to it. And then, maybe I retire at 35, or maybe I take a deal and become a second baseman, backup second baseman for the next 2 or 3 years somewhere. You know what I mean? For $20 million a year. In my opinion. So I don't know. I don't think Story opts out. That's gonna be. Hopefully, it's an interesting conversation by the end of the year. Hopefully. And if he is, it kind of makes everything a little bit easier, doesn't it? So now the Bregman stuff makes even more sense, because then you could have Meyer just come up and be your shortstop. And we're talking about Bregman for 30. Yeah, but Bregman's 30 years old. Bregman's 3 years younger and has been more healthy recently. Outside, I mean, last season he played what? Bregman, I think, people keep comparing him to Story. I don't totally get that. I don't totally get it. Right, you go in here. Even this injured year was still 145 games, 161 games, 155 games. He had 1 year where he missed half a season, and this year was obviously shortened. 156, 157, 155, and he's 30. So yeah, we talk about Bregman for 3 years to age 33. That's a whole lot. And coming off of 3 years where he's played a majority of the games during the seasons, compared to Story, who's played a season combined in 3 years, even if he does have a good year, right? Even if he does have a good year, you're talking about, here we go. Is this even a full season? Not even, it is one singular full season. Man, dude, it sucks so bad. It sucks. If Story was putting up a 4 WAR every year for the last 3 years, even with his OPS plus being this low, this team would have been in such a better place. I bet they're a playoff team in 24 if he doesn't get hurt. It sucks so bad. Even if this is what we get from Story for the next year, you know what I mean? And he puts up bigger home run numbers, obviously. But even if this is kind of where he's at, I don't think I have the biggest problem in the world with how good he is defensively. Regardless, I think it's two different conversations here, versatility. Coke or Pepsi? Coke all day. Not even a question. Don't clip that. I don't think the Red Sox aren't thinking of Story when they're thinking about signing Bregman. No, they're not. But I'm saying a lot of Red Sox fans have compared. It's going to be a Story contract all over again. I just don't understand where that comparison's coming from. What up, Flanty? I think the idea is that Trevor Story was healthy his whole career until he came here. But even then, right, the most he played was back in 2018. 145, 142, 97, 145. I don't know. I still think it's different. Santander is a better fit than Bregman, 100%? Please explain, Duncan. If Vladdy's coming next year, will he play third base? No, he'd have to play first base. Instead of injury for Bregman, it's regression. Again, like the regression on Bregman has always sort of baffled me that fans, if you look at the last 3 years, shockingly, right, he's not going to be the 25-year-old MVP candidate that we saw at 30 years old. He's just not. To expect that from this guy doesn't make any sense. But when you look at the last 3 years, right, batting average, right around that 260 mark, it's all the same. This is where you see the discrepancy. 366, 363, 315. And then the slugging right in that same ballpark. Right in that same ballpark. 454, 441, 453. OPS pluses, yeah, they've gone down a little bit, but again, it's not because he's been less productive overall. It's because he's been getting on base less. And look at this. Home runs, same ballpark, right? 23, 25, 26. RBIs, I don't really fault a guy for having a down year in RBIs. A lot of that has to do with where your team is at in terms of getting on base. Doubles are 38, 28, 30, right in the same ballpark. Hits, 142, 163, 151, all in the same ballpark. The only thing that has truly regressed legitimately in the last 3 years has been his on-base percentage. And if you look back, you're telling me this guy will never be able to regain his on-base percentages? That to me doesn't make sense because that's not really a thing you lose with age. In fact, that's something that usually maintains with you, especially if you could keep your average in that area. So I sit here and I say, well, wait a second here. When we're talking about regression with Bregman, we are only talking about a regression in on-base percentages. That's it. And I can't sit here and say that this guy's never going to be able to get back up to what he was in terms of on-base percentages in 2 years ago. And this is why, because he's still not striking out a lot. He's still not striking out a lot. He's still not chasing a lot of pitches. He's still not missing a ton of pitches when he is swinging at pitches in the zone. So the signs are all there that, hey, maybe he just had a down year. Maybe he just had a down year. But I can't sit there and say that this is a regression. Did I see your last comment? No, I've been ranting. I'm not saying they're the exact same person, but I'm saying if Bregman could get $30 million a year this year, that contract next year would be 33, meaning Story might get 28. Wait, this year, that contract next year would be like 33. Why would that be 33? Oh, with inflation, you mean? Story might get 28 to 30. Okay, yeah, I could see that versatility. But again, is that 28 to 30 really worth it for Story? I don't know. Bregman has been declining. Where, Daryl? Where? I just went through all of his statistics over the last 3 years, and the only thing that has truly declined is his on-base percentage. And if that's what you're worried about, I promise you this. Look at what he did last year. Chase rate was well above average. Whiff rate was well above average. He has all the potential in the world to get his on-base. It's just taking more walks. He's perfectly capable of doing that. Need a righty bat in the lineup. Bregman is old and a cheater. One, Bregman is the exact same age as Santander, so that argument is totally out the window for you. And a cheater, I mean, dude, look, yeah, 2017 he cheated, but it's not like he was taking steroids or doing something individually. His entire team was cheating. Bregman's power has disappeared. Wrong. Daryl, look at the screen right now. Let me show you something. Look at the screen. Ready? Ready? This is his slugging. This is an indicator of power, okay? This is an indicator of power. Here we go. Last 3 years, no regression here. 454, 441, 453. That is no regression, okay? Now we go over to home runs. Hey there, home runs. This is an indicator of power. 23, 25, 26 in 2024. No indication of regression. Doubles. Hey, a guy who hits a lot of extra bases, that's usually a guy who's pretty powerful. 38, 28, 30. No indication of regression. Again, guys, the only statistic that Alex Bregman has truly regressed in is his on-base percentage. And we're talking about a guy who historically, throughout the 9 years he's been in Major League Baseball, has been an on-base guy. The fact that you don't believe that he can get those on-base percentages up is crazy to me. So, Daryl, I implore you, please, where is the regression? You too, Austin. Remember he had that short left field? Do I need to explain to you the dimensions of Fenway Park? Oh, okay, so he has 20 home runs and 50 doubles or 45 doubles. He doesn't lift the ball at all, Daryl. Come on, dude. I mean, truly, come on, dude. He had 30 doubles and 26 home runs last season. Hey, the Green Monster should really hold Alex Bregman back, shouldn't it? Should really hold him back, guys. It's 81 games, not at the short porch of the Crawford boxes. Should really hold him back, huh? People just don't want to. People just argue to argue. I feel like there's no sense in this. He's gonna do worse at Fenway Park. Outside of Minute Maid Park, guess where he hits best, ladies and gentlemen. Guess where he hits best. Just take a wild guess. Here. I'll help you out a little bit. Go ahead. Which ballpark does he hit best in? Huh? Hey, wait a second. Would you look at that? That's Fenway Park. Wait. BOS. Wait, the Red Sox. Those guys play at Fenway Park, don't they? 82 games, actually, don't they? 82 games. Huh. And this was just this season. Let's go to a full year. Let's go to his full career. Let's see what it looks like over a full career. That was just this season. Let's do the full career. Let's see where we're at here. So wait a second. You mean to tell me in 21 games, Alex Bregman has a 1,200 OPS? He's hit 7 home runs in 21 games with 9 doubles, 15 RBIs. Hit 375 lifetime. His fourth best. I don't even know what ES Monterrey is. I think that's when they did the Mexico series. But even taking that away, I sit here, guys, and there's no I'm sorry. There's no logical response to he's going to be worse at Fenway than he was at Minute Maid Park. There is no logic to it. None. Not one. All right, Bobby, have a good one. Oh, those numbers are really good. Yeah, they are. Hey, Tracy. Sold, man. There's not much to be sold on. I mean, you just got to look, right? I don't know. It just, I sit here and like you guys make arguments, and every argument there's a legitimate statistical response to it that is completely negates it. It completely negates it. It's a great pitch clip that clip that and send it to the front office. Believe it or not. Bregman Sox signings for the sake of Corbin's blood pressure. Yeah, guys, that would be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. Do I think Bregman ends up here? If he ends up on a short-term deal and doesn't end up on the Red Sox, I'm going to have an absolute mental breakdown, I think. Santander career Fenway Park statistics. Might as well take a look at it. Sure thing, folks. Let's do it. I think Santander's probably been pretty solid at Fenway. I don't think it's as good as that, though. Someone asked to remember what Bregman's career statistics were, right? At Fenway. I think we've actually gone over this before. Boop. Not as good. More home runs, but that's because of more games. Not as good career-wise. 806. I mean, it's not terrible. Well, it's slightly above average in terms of his. Also better than Camden, which makes sense, I guess. But it's 806 OPS. He's a really good at Kauffman Stadium. Look at him. He's really good at Kauffman Stadium. Really good at the Nationals. Maybe we should go to Kansas City. How good is he at in Toronto? Toronto. Not great in Toronto. Good God, he's actually terrible in Toronto. Oof. Yeah, it's just Bregman's so clearly the best player available. So clear the best player available. If anything is true, it's that the Red Sox play half their games at Fenway. If anything is true, it's that the Red Sox play half their games. If we can hang our hat, I need a new hat, by the way. This one's driving me nuts. What do I think of the catcher we traded for today? Don't hate it. I think it's a fine signing, right? It's a depth signing. It's a potential bench signing or trading. It's not really anything. I was thinking about making a video for it. I just kind of spoke on it at the beginning of stream, to be honest with you, Tracy, because I don't think he's gonna end up being the everyday catcher. I think that ends up going to Narvaez, but I don't really have any problem with the trade at all. You didn't give anything up for it, you know what I mean? So I have no problems with it. We'll see kind of how it ends up, but I'm not totally hell-bent on the Red Sox doing it. San Francisco media were sad to lose him, which is a good sign. Yeah, he looked a lot better. He looked a lot better this year than he did last year, for sure. He looked a lot better last year than he did, or this year than he did last year, for sure. And that makes sense, right? It's your rookie season. Sometimes it takes guys a couple of years even to figure themselves out at the big league level. So I have no problem with the catcher at all. None. He actually looked pretty good this year. And again, you don't need a starting catcher. You don't need one. The goal was to get a backup. They got two competent backup catchers, and that's all that matters. Of course, you think it's dumpster diving, dude, because you did no research. You just saw the price tag, and you said, yeah, this is a bad move. Could be really good in spits, yeah. Spots. There we go. Yeah. I would like a new starting catcher soon, though. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen the Red Sox in a market with trading for a starting catcher. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen it. Breslow seems really like Breslow really talked up Narvaez, which is interesting to me. Another first base candidate? No. He was actually fine defensively this year. Connor Joe Wong is the future. They seem pretty confident in him, man. They seem pretty confident in him. To me, there's no benefit of the doubt for Wong this season. He either does it or he doesn't. That's it. Yeah, if he's not a good defender this year, he's not going to be, in my opinion. Like, you have to move on. If you're going to insult me, at least spell the word no correctly. Like, why do we do this every live stream, E? I mean, genuinely, dude. And what's shocking to me is that you love talking Red Sox baseball so much. Like, you love it. But you sit here, right? You sit here. And all you do, I watch games and you just sit behind your computer. How do you watch the games if you aren't sitting behind a screen, dumbass? I mean, come on, dude. This guy's sitting here. He's going. I watch the games on my TV. You watch them on your computer. Burn. It's genuinely my favorite thing that he does is he sits there and he goes, you're sitting behind a computer while I'm out here roughing and toughing it behind my computer. Your computer's different than my computer. You don't understand, bro. I sit there with my 78-inch plasma TV sprawled out on the couch, bro, while you sit there and watch on your Mac, live streaming it to people on the internet. We are not the same, bro. Look at Alpha your ass. Oh my God, E. This is crazy. Oh man. That's crazy. It's so funny. Oh my God. Oh man. It's just like none of it actually works, man. It doesn't work. A little bit of water after that one. I watched all the game through my neighbor's window. Oh man. I harsh it out in the conditions. I stand outside. They don't even know I'm watching. My favorite part of this, by the way, is one, he's gonna say the same exact thing next week. But two, earlier in the stream, he goes, I can't believe you guys are paying John Henry. So if he's not paying John Henry, and he's also not sitting behind a computer, but he says he watches every game, what's he on the Goodyear blimp? Yeah. But he's dressing up as a Bush 81 games a year. Thank you, I needed that. I needed that. I need to get that out, I think. I'd been in there for a while. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. Oh, my God. He's secretly Garrett Cole. Yeah. Is John Henry's burner? Maybe. That's a good note to end stream on, I think. Anyways, if you want some Red Sea Radio merch, there's a link. Bro's watching through VHS tapes. He's at the top of the Sitco sign with binoculars. He's like, zzz, zzz. Blue, that was a little low. Are you kidding me, Casas? You gotta swing at that dude. Yeah, but that would, or Roger, that would still require him to be behind a computer screen, which he claims he does not, and that I only do. That's what makes it, though. That's the funniest part of this. Jake, Think we sign AJ Minter? I really would love AJ Minter, dude. I would be all over an AJ Minter signing. I think he brings legitimate consistency to the bullpen. But the problem with that Prodigy, is he said he watches them. So I don't know. Like if you're not watching, or if you're watching, you can't be listening on radio. So like, and he doesn't give money to John Henry. We know this, right? We know this. You love Minter over Scott? See, no. Tanner Scott is still clearing away the favorite here. But I'll take either. What happens to Bernie? I think Bernie ends up. I love Bernie. I think Bernie ends up in AAA as sort of depth for the Sox. He watches on his phone taking a 3-mile jog. Too expensive for your taste? Spend the money. What's up, Dennis? Trade for Mike Trout. Brother, one day they're going to do it. If you just keep commenting on every single one of my videos, they're going to do it one day. I have faith in you. I think you can do it. You can do it, Jeff. You can will Mike Trout to the Red Sox. I truly believe in you. Drunk Ball G. There's no way he actually. Yeah, so apparently we're already starting to hear that his market's in the $16 million range, which is already like a $4 million difference. We'll kind of see what it ends up. It doesn't really feel like teams are crazy desperate to get these back end of the bullpen arms, which I think is kind of interesting, right? Like I kind of figured Tanner Scott's market this year would be much, much more conversed about. Like I figured we would have a lot more conversations about Tanner Scott being in talks with certain teams, so we really haven't heard anything. Yeah, it is kind of low. That's a good point. Like it just sort of like teams are just sort of okay with being okay without having Tanner Scott in the bull, which is interesting to me because Tanner Scott's incredible. So I wonder why teams are so okay to just wait it out. You know what I mean? Like why are they so Jack Flaherty? Yeah, Jack Flaherty's another one. I don't think we've heard anything on Jack Flaherty, have we? Just strictly that he's open to a shorter contract, but outside of that, Dodgers maybe. I mean, I don't know how trustworthy Bleacher Nation or Fantasy Pros are, but wasn't the Orioles connected to him at some point? This would be hilarious if you. Oh, this was 2024. Let's go to tools. Recent. Yeah, there's no mention of teams. There was like could Jack Flaherty be on the Mets radar? You know what I mean? According to Steve Phillips, free agent starter Jack Flaherty came into the offseason looking for a 5-year deal, but is yet to be able to find one because of a general concern over his medical's back issue. Huh. Phillies call back a story. Phillips calls back a story, forgot about, which the Yankees. I think he's actually backed out. I mean, that's interesting. Maybe it's just the medicals that are holding him back. I don't know who this guy Phillips is, but that would kind of make sense, right? Talk about the Hoffman stuff? No, I really haven't. That was wild. That was wild. I thought he was on the Orioles' radar too, but I haven't seen anything about it. All right, chat. I think we've officially rumored ourselves out, and I don't want to blow up on another troll tonight. So I think we're going to call that there. Everyone give a big thank you to E for making the night end on a happy note. Steve is the former GM of the Mets and Phillies. Oh, a huge thank you to Aaron today. Man, that was an unbelievably generous stream from you. I really, really appreciate it. Genetic too, G, Prodigy, of course, Lionel, members. Thank you all for being members. We'll have our live stream next week. We're gonna be doing our live stream. Let's do each. If you guys are new here, I promise you I'm not that animated every time. Maybe I am a little bit, but we do this once a week. If you enjoy this type of video content, whatever it is, make sure you hit that like button as well. It just helps me out a ton. It really is the best way I could figure out what kind of live streams you guys want. If you're new here, considering subscribing. We do Red Sox every day, baby. Every day but Sunday. Again, guys, I really appreciate you being here. There really isn't anything all that new to talk about. And you know, we still had, I don't know, I'm thinking over 100 people in this stream. I have no idea. I don't know it, but I know that you guys stuck around and it means a lot to me. So I will see you guys tomorrow as we break down all the the highlights of the international free agent signing. I can't do all of them because there are a ton. But am I live streaming the first game? Yeah, I always live stream opening day. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, as always, I will see you in the red seats.